John chapter 19, verses 16 through 30. If you've got a Bible with you, that's John chapter 19, verses 16 through 30. So he then handed him over to them to be crucified. They took Jesus, therefore, and he went out, bearing his own cross, to the place called the place of a skull, which is called in Hebrew Golgotha. There they crucified him, and with two other men, one on either side, and Jesus in between. Pilate also wrote an inscription and put it on the cross. It was written, Jesus, the Nazarene, the King of the Jews. Therefore many of the Jews read this inscription, for the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city, and it was written in Hebrew, Latin, and in Greek. So the chief priests of the Jews were saying to Pilate, "Do not write, the King of the Jews, but that he said, 'I am King of the Jews.'" Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written." Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Jesus, took his outer garments and made 4 parts, a part to every soldier, and also the tunic. Now the tunic was seamless, woven in one piece. So they said to one another, "Let us not tear it, but cast lots for it, to decide whose it shall be." This was to fulfill the scripture. They divided my outer garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots. Therefore the soldiers did these things. Standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus then saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." From that hour the disciple took her into his own household. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things had already been accomplished to fulfill the scriptures, said, "I am thirsty." A jar of sour wine was standing there, so they put a sponge full of the sour wine upon a branch of hyssop, and brought it up to his mouth. Therefore, when Jesus had received the sour wine, he said, "It is finished." And he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. Now, why would I read to you about the crucifixion? The answer lies in the fact, that it is important for us to go back and to remember where it all began. What our purpose is here. Our purpose is not to worry about what the coronavirus is going to do, even though that is a concern. Our purpose is to serve God. So when we have situations come up that are rough patches in the road, we have to look at the positive and say, how can I glorify God through this? How can I serve God through this time? What can I learn from this experience that will draw me closer to the Lord and ultimately glorify Him in a way that when I do have my judgment day and go to heaven, He will say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." We can see that Jesus paid the ultimate sacrifice. He suffered the most so that you and I would be saved and have a right relationship to be restored with the Lord. And I say that to say this: no amount of suffering that we can suffer on this earth will ever compare to what He did on the cross for us. No amount of time spent away from friends or pain that we will endure on this earth, no matter how bad it is, will ever compare to Him being crucified on the cross, not just for you and me, but for an entire world of people who were just so mean and would spat in His face and tear His clothes and be terrible to Him, because not only did they crucify Him, but they beat Him on the way to crucifying Him. So just remember how loved you are by the Lord. Find rest and peace in that even if you can't see your friends, your one true friend is there with you. We're not able to see family from church or family anywhere right now because we're supposed to be quarantined, and that is hard. It's very hard. I, of all people, should know, as extroverted as I am. But no matter what, I still have my Lord with me, the one who loves me the most and cares about me the most and knows about me better than anyone else can. And everybody that we have in our lives that we're missing right now are gifts to us from Him. So just be thankful for what God did for us on the cross today. And find peace and rest in that as you go about your day. I love you all. If you need anything, I'm only a call away. Take care and glorify the Lord today.